Live from Paranormal Central, SPS Radio with your host, Jeffrey Gonzalez, is on the air. Tune in for lively conversations regarding UFOs, Bigfoot, hauntings, and conspiracy theories, among others. If you would like to speak to Jeffrey on tonight's show, the call-in number is 559-287-8367. That's 559-287-UFOS. For SPS Radio, Jeffrey Gonzalez.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sacramento UFO Conference. Am I loud out there?
You're good, actually.
Actually, I'm good. I'm blasting you away. Right on. That's the whole idea, to wake you up. And it sounds echoey, though. I think I better bring it down.
Yeah, if you want to bring it down just a little.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to Sacramento, California for this year event for the Sacramento UFO Conference 2012. And we've been here the weekend. So this event started yesterday, and now this is our second day into it. And we are continuing on with our interviews with the speakers of the event. And the first one today is, I'm flattered that he's here. The man who is behind the Dulce underground base, the man who's wanted by the FBI, CIA, DIA, all of them, Mr. Norio Hayakawa.
Yes, correct.
How's it going?
Oh, great. I'm excited to be here, and it's an honor for me to be in your program, Jeff.
I appreciate that.
I heard so much about you.
Good things, I hope?
Yes, very good things.
I guess the reason why you're here and the reason why I'm here is basically because of Anthony.
That's exactly why I'm here. And I was contacted first by Anthony F. Sanchez in the spring of 2010. If he hadn't ever contacted me, I don't think I'll be here. And I don't think things would have, been the same. So I think it was destiny that he decided to contact me in 2010, saying that I was the most ideal person for him to contact in order to bring out his amazing story to this world. And that story is the confirmation that there is a Dulce underground base in Dulce, New Mexico.
Confirmation. For those people who think underground bases are a myth, there's no such thing as Area 51. There is so much going on that people have no clue. Is that right, Norio?
Exactly.
I mean,
this all seems to be covered up, and it's a fact that the underground bases are, it's a vital part of America's military, program. And yes, the concept of underground bases, I think, go even up to, even before World War II. So this is nothing new, but what's very fascinating is that there are several suspected underground bases, and these are very significant. And of course, you mentioned Area 51 in Nevada. And of course, on the surface, yes, it is. You can see superficial structures at Area 51 today, by the way, which is expanding. But anyway, the main interest about Area 51 is what's beneath Area 51.
That's where it's all happening. I mean, everything is underground. I mean, that's why it's underground facilities. What made you get involved? How did it all start?
Well, for me, it all started around 1987 when I received, 12-page a hypothesis from a fellow that I had never met before, and his name was, of course, John Lear. John Lear, through a mutual friend of mine, sent me his hypothesis in 1987, stating that there are two important locations in the United States being covered up, and the first one is Area 51 in Nevada, and also a secret underground base in Dulce, New Mexico. And both of these facilities are tied in with some ominous governmental projects. And this was in 1987 when hardly anybody knew about Area 51. But speaking of synchronicity, yes, it was also in 1987 that I received a 10-page packet from William Moore, who also confirmed that there is an underground, a secret base in Nevada called Area 51. So both the Area 51 information and the Dulce information coincidentally happened at the same time to me. And so I found out about Dulce through this mutual friend, and this person was Tal Levesque, also known as Jason Bishop. So ever since that time, I was fascinated about this Jason Bishop's report about the Dulce base. And he is the one who sent me this drawing of this VATS and this laboratory. It's just a drawing of something that looks like a tube, and inside were, drawings of a little, extraterrestrial creature. And so I became fascinated with it. That was in 1987.
Now, why did he send you the documents? What were you doing at that point in time for that, to receive that stuff?
Well, that's a good question. It was in 1987 that I'm not actually sure why I got to know this Tal Levesque. I think it could have been, because I was living in California at that time.
Okay.
And somehow Tal Levesque, and I became an acquaintance. Maybe I have expressed to somebody my interest in UFOs.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. So
And
that's
maybe
where I started right there.
That's right.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So your interest in UFOs, and then people, just like me, once you state your, involvement, then people realize that you're really serious, and they're going to start coming to you little by little by little.
That is correct.
Okay. So your love of UFOs now branched off to, okay, where are they keeping these UFOs, unidentified flying object, top secret, military. Now you were living in California when you found out about the Dulce.
That's right. That is absolutely.
So you moved to Dulce, where you moved over there, right?
I moved to New Mexico.
To New Mexico.
4 years ago.
Okay. So how far are you from Dulce?
Yes, I live in the town of Rio Rancho, or city of Rio Rancho, which is right next to Albuquerque. But from Rio Rancho to Dulce, it's only about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Just hop, skip, and a jump.
That's right.
Okay. So, so how long have you been in the New Mexico?
Well, I lived in New Mexico from 1965 to 1973.
Okay.
And then from 1973, I moved to Arizona.
Okay.
But I have lived in New Mexico since 1965, so I know their area. I went to college there. And it was not a coincidence that I went to New Mexico because I was so impressed in 1964 with the Lonnie Zamora incident that took place, a few hours away from Albuquerque. That was 1964. That changed my life. That whole Socorro incident with Lonnie Zamora changed my life completely, and I began to take seriously UFO study. Which I started in 1961, by the way.
Wow. So we're talking almost 50 years.
That's right.
Holy mackerel. You've been at it I'm not going to say longer than I've been alive, but but welcome. That's awesome.
Yes,
So-
I used to subscribe to NICAB magazines and newsletters and APRO, APRO, from in the 60s.
Wow. So, Mr. Norio, you've been there, done that, and seen stuff, I'm assuming. So, okay, now let's talk about Anthony. Anthony contacted you, and we're talking about Anthony Sanchez, who's the one who's putting on this event in Sacramento. He contacted you because he was writing. Actually, was he writing? I guess he was writing the book about Dulce, and obviously you're the man to go to when it comes to that facility.
Well,
or was he writing the book on Dulce or something else?
No, he was not writing a book
Not
on
around
Dulce,
Dulce.
but he contacted me in the spring of 2010 to let me know, and he introduced himself, who he was, and he told me that he just interviewed
The
a
colonel.
in California.
Got it. Okay.
And then he had to write to me because he was so excited about this interview. And so he approached me and he said he wants to expose the whole thing, this 3-hour interview with the colonel, and make it into a book format. And he was asking me if I could write a foreword to his book.
And you said, no way.
And I was very impressed with that interview with the colonel that Anthony sent me, of course, by text, form. And I decided, yes, I would be glad to
Now,
write it forward.
you've been looking into Dulce, and all of a sudden this guy comes out of freaking nowhere, Anthony, with this interview. You're probably like, wow, this is almost like, I don't want to say confirmation on what's going on at Dulce, but this has got, this probably just piqued your interest big time. Now, ever since he notified you, and then with the colonel interview, Anthony has gone down to New Mexico even to get into it even farther, deeper with you as well, hasn't he?
That's right.
Okay.
So Anthony Sanchez was fascinated, and I was also fascinated with the colonel's the interview. And I decided to write a foreword to this book. And in the foreword, I stated clearly that when it comes to things like underground bases and conspiracies, it is difficult to find complete physical evidence, but yet there are so many circumstantial evidences to point out that there's definitely something there, because wherever there's a smoke, there's a fire.
Yes, yes. And there are, and when he says, Norio says evidence, it's not like an actual UFO landing at the base of the mountain. You have to look around that. It's a chain of evidence. What seems out of place? That should not be there. That wasn't there last week. I seen something last night that doesn't make any sense. Once you take all that into consideration, then you have to start figuring out, like, okay, why is all this happening around this particular mountain? So evidence, let's talk about evidences. I'm thinking that you have seen a lot of military presence around that mountain.
Well, to tell you the truth, yes. There have been reports of military vehicles in that area since around 1980s, and also people reporting strange flying objects. Also people reporting, of course, the main thing was the proliferation of the mysterious cattle mutilations in the Dulce area beginning in the mid-1970s. So I became interested in this Dulce thing, as I mentioned, in 1987 after Tal Levesque sent me this information. But so I went to Dulce, and I took 8-member Japanese TV crew to Dulce in 1990.
Wow.
And started interviewing the people on the street of Dulce. I interviewed about 20 people, Hikari Apache, Native American people, yes. And they all confirmed to me that, yes, indeed, they had seen military helicopters in the Archuleta Mesa area. They had seen some strange flying objects, and they have seen all these things. And so I was interviewing these people, and suddenly we saw flashing patrol car approaching us.
Really?
Yes, and out jumped Police Chief Hoyt Ballard at that time.
Now, was he, a reservation police officer?
That's right. That's right. And he started asking us what we were doing, and he took our IDs, and we were just detained there for at least an hour. And so I asked him, were we doing anything wrong by interviewing people here? And he refused to answer all these questions. And finally, before he released us, I asked him, is it true that there's a base, UFO base here? And then suddenly his countenance changed, and he got shook up, and he says, I'm not going to answer that question. So that was his answer.
Was the media filming?
Yes, that's right.
Now, how did Japan media come down here? Did they just?
Well, they heard about Dulce in connection with Area 51.
Wow.
And that's why I don't believe there's such a thing as coincidence, because in 1990, the TV crew from Japan, we went to Area 51. We didn't go inside, of course, but we went to Bob Lazar's residence.
Really?
And had an interview.
Holy mackerel.
Which was very historical.
Yes,
and then after filming there, then we went to Dulce. So it was an amazing 2-hour documentary program that was broadcast in Japan in March of 1990, seen by millions of people, and the subject was the mysteries of Area 51 and Dulce. When at that time, hardly anybody in America knew about Dulce or Area 51.
Well, then how did Japan know about Area 51?
Well, because I mentioned
Norio.
to a magazine in Japan that there's a guy on the radio, talk radio in Las Vegas, who claims to be working at the secret facility near Area 51.
So, is it true that other countries are so much into UFOs and underground, the conspiracy? So, are they really into it way deeper?
Well, actually, yes. In the beginning around the 1980s, Japanese TV networks had lots and lots of programs about UFOs, and in fact, a Japanese Nippon TV network was the first network TV in the world to actually broadcast the 3-hour interview with Billy Meyer. That was, I think, in the 80s too. And so Japan was, a country that had a lot of interest in UFOs and took them seriously.
Wow.
And so this is the reason why in the early 90s there were many programs, TV Asahi, TV Nippon, and so on, that had shown these interesting programs at prime time. So the people in Japan in 1990, after March, knew about Area 51.
Now,
amazing.
Wow. Now, God, what was the question I was just going to ask you? Oh my God, I had such a great question I was going to ask you. Oh my God. Okay, well, anyway.
So I mentioned to you, we went to Bob Lazar's house in 1990, and it did a 4-hour interview.
Okay.
And he told us that we should go to this location, and you'll definitely see a test flight of this object that he was talking about.
At a certain time, certain day.
That's right. Oh, it was on a Wednesday, by the way.
On a Wednesday.
That's right.
Where our sightings in Fresno happens on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Wow, it seems like a Wednesday is a very...
It's called Hump Day, where Wednesday really, wow, and I'll tell you why. I have been documenting all the sightings in Fresno, what days are more popular than others. And it has Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, Wednesdays being the most of them. And the reason I'm thinking is because Wednesday is the middle of the week. The families, the people, they're tired. They come home from work. They go inside, and they don't bother looking outside. They don't go out to party. They don't do anything. And that's most of the people are usually in their homes by 6 o'clock, and they're not out driving around because it's still the middle of the week and they're tired. that's the best time to test top secret equipment.
Yeah, it's very convincing to me. And Bob Lazar told us that they do the testing on Wednesday evenings.
Wow.
And so, lo and behold, we were there on Wednesday evening, and after sundown, we started seeing this bright orange object arising from the Groom Mountains.
Wow. That just blows me away. It's another confirmation on my theory right there. I didn't know that, Norio. Thank you for that. Wow. Okay, so Anthony called you, and so Anthony put this book out. Because your interest in Dulce, New Mexico, is the military not liking you at all for doing this? Have they come up to you, told you anything? Are you like seeing things following you behind your back? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you mean. But the only time that I felt that I was being followed was, of course, in May of 1991 when we were chased dangerously by a military helicopter on Groom Lake Road, which is a public road. These helicopters. This helicopter came, about less than, I would say, 50 feet above our cars.
Wow.
And chased us for 8 minutes. But and then we were detained at the Highway 375 by Lincoln County Sheriff. Patrol cars. About 3 of them. But that was the only time that I felt that I was threatened. But as far as Dulce, I have never been threatened over there because Dulce is a topic that is still under investigation. And, unlike Area 51, you cannot see the Dulce base. And that's the great mystery. Yet, there are so many circumstantial evidences, and if you ask the people in Dulce, which is a small community of 2,600 people, if you ask every single person over there, they know of a friend or a family or relative that had seen these things. Yeah, so everybody knows in Dulce that this rumor has been going on, and in fact, a lot of people believe, actually I would say that half of the people in Dulce believe that there's a base, the other half are not sure. And so it remains today, and the sightings even continue even today.
Wow.
So this is more interesting than Roswell, New Mexico, because Dulce, New Mexico the actions are going on even now, and people are still reporting UFOs and so on. In fact, one interesting thing is that the town of Dulce, people see military helicopters, and a very good example was in 2009 when I held the first time ever underground base conference in Dulce, New Mexico. Early that morning, on March 29th, 2009, 2 military helicopters hovered over Best Western Hotel.
No freaking way.
And actually, among the audience, about 135 people that came to the conference, historic conference, was a couple that presently goes by the name of Colonel X.
He was there?
Colonel X and his wife.
He was there?
Was present, according to the confirmation by the colonel to Anthony Sanchez.
So basically then
he witnessed the 2 helicopters. He
and
his wife.
Among other people as well, like you? Or?
That's right. I wasn't, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, early in the morning, so, we just heard the thunderous roar of blades of helicopter.
I would have been running out of that hotel in my underwear thinking they were going to drop a bomb.
Yes, but that was reported by local residents later on who testified at the conference that there were 2 military helicopters the morning of the conference.
I mean, how stupid can you be? Hello, we're trying to keep this top secret. Oh, let's send a couple of military helicopters to hover over where they're holding this conference about a non-existent military. I mean, come on. How much more confirmation can you get?
That's right. And the strange thing is that the colonel claimed in his interview with Anthony Sanchez that he and his wife was drinking coffee outside the Best Western early in the morning.
Did anybody get any video?
I have not seen any
Oh, my
videos, but
God.
it happened so suddenly.
Yeah.
And several of us staying, many of us heard the sound of the helicopter,
my
but
God.
it was too early in the morning, so.
So
I
why
didn't get-
why do you think they sent 2 helicopters?
Well, I think
Not to scare you,
No, I think they tried to
intimidate. But no, there's no
maybe-
reason. You had
no.
130 people there.
Maybe it was an indication that yes, this is a serious subject and there's something there. Maybe it's an indirect hint that the Dulce is definitely.
But
it's
why
there.
why would they even want to give you a hint?
I have no idea.
That
But
doesn't- now maybe by 6 o'clock in the morning, nowadays they have the old lasers and they can hear what's going on inside. Maybe they were trying to listen, but no, that's stupid to me to send 2 helicopters.
yeah,
to,
that is a mystery. But the
Yeah.
fact is that Dulce is nowhere near any military base. There's not a single military base in or outside of Dulce, and yet Dulce is a place where you see military helicopters. People report military helicopters. In fact, a friend of mine, the late Gabe Valdez, who was a New Mexico State Highway Patrol officer in charge of Dulce for many, many years, he confronted one military helicopter trying to land at an airport, small airport in Dulce. And he showed his badge, the New Mexico State badge, and he said, "You cannot land here." And there was a small, confrontation, a verbal confrontation, and finally the military helicopter left and did not land at the airport because Gabe Valdez was in charge of Dulce because he was assigned to be in charge of that place because of the numerous cattle mutilations that began in 1975 in that area. So Gabe Valdez was a person that very much liked by the people of Dulce because the people of Dulce do not want military to be there because it's not a military location and they have no right to come to Archuleta Mesa. So there was a confrontation there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the reservation, the people that they have cattle, and helicopters are probably scaring the cattle and just creating a dust and agriculture. Helicopters aren't really good with agriculture, so I can understand their concern about all that. So that right there, I mean, 2 Army helicopters come out of nowhere. That's just basically confirmation all the way. We've been talking here at the conference, letting you know about Fresno, and Fresno and Dulce, New Mexico is sort of kind of in the same, what we're experiencing over there is what you guys are experiencing in Dulce as
Yes,
well.
I think definitely. Central California area, especially a little north of that too, is also connected somehow with places like Area 51 in Nevada, and further maybe even Dulce, because as you mentioned before in this conference, that you had seen 737 unmarked jets, transporting who knows who to other locations.
And for all those people who don't know what those are, the Janet airplanes, the 737s with the red stripe on the side that had been seen leaving McCarran out of Vegas, taking the workers to Area 51. I have seen them parked at Fresno. So again, chain of evidence, you really don't know what's there, but when you have that, that's like, that gives it away.
Definitely, and I think this area is very, California is very important. Like you have the Beale Air Force Base. There have been strange incidents there, as I'm not sure you've heard.
Where?
Beale.
Oh, Beale? Yes.
Beale Air Force Base, and so there's a connection there. But going back to Dulce, New Mexico, it is a convenient location for the U.S. government to conduct any kind of experiments, such as investigation and research into paranormal. I believe that the government is hiding their knowledge of paranormal phenomena in that area. No question in my mind.
Now, when you say paranormal, obviously unidentified flying objects, is there when you say paranormal, now we're going to branch off here. Is there other things that are occurring over there as well?
I think, yes, definitely. People even continue to report sightings of what they describe definitely as a Bigfoot by the Navajo River in Dulce.
Okay.
Many people have reported sightings of Bigfoot in the by the river of Navajo River, which is right next to the Archuleta Mesa. Now, the Navajo River basically goes around the Archuleta Mesa, and so it's right next to Dulce, and there are picnic areas. And I have heard from the local residents that the Bigfoot, cases of Bigfoot coming and taking food from the picnic table.
Wow.
Yes, and this is not just imagination. These are testimonies of people who live in Dulce.
So we're talking the people that belong to the reservation?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Even Hoyt Velarde, who has retired, but he keeps on continuing. He continues to investigate the Bigfoot reporting even today, and he believes that there is that phenomenon. Plus, people report other phenomena such as hearing ancient Indian chants when there are nobody there. So I think that there is this thing called some kind of a paranormal type of a vortex area. I think that's a very important idea.
That's exactly what we believe we have in Fresno as well. We have Bigfoot and UFOs and, ghosts as well, spirits, and just... and that's just weird because I didn't know about the Bigfoot at Dulce
Yes,
and
Dulce is
Archuleta.
well known.
That's crazy. That just blows me away. That's awesome.
Not only Bigfoot, but people have reported.
Any flying creatures by any chance?
Well, they have reported the so-called skinwalkers, and so this is all part of the Native American people's also belief in the spirituality. They believe that they came from from underground, and so it's a convenient place to do research. And I think the government is convinced that there are paranormal activity in the Dulce area, and conveniently the people there just that's a culture, and so it's an ideal location. But I think the U.S. government could be covering up their interest in the paranormal.
Wow. So do you think that the paranormal was there for a very, very, very long time? The military found out about it and then decided to set up a base there?
I think there's a great possibility in that. And then that could be part of psychological warfare or PSYOPs program, because many of the PSYOPs program of the U.S. military seem to use that type of situation, paranormal phenomena, and how to use that in a psychological warfare.
Wow.
And so, plus, of course, with the cattle mutilations, there are people who say that the government is working on biowarfare program at that area, and there have been anthrax found in cattle mutilations, in the cows. So it's very possible, and the Edmund Gomez of the, one of the sons of Manuel Gomez, who owned the largest ranch in Dulce, Edmund Gomez is convinced that there is a governmental biolab under Mount Archuleta.
And that's where they're doing all that. Okay.
But see, people still report UFOs. I have a photo of UFO picture taken by Dory Vigil of Dulce just last year, and I posted on my site. But it's very fascinating. So this reality. The reality is that there's definitely something there. It could be an underground base. It's very possible.
So you think ley line, vortex, Stargate of some type, maybe?
Yes, actually, that's my belief. That's my belief. Because this subject, we cannot separate UFOs from the non-physical phenomena. So I believe that we have to study UFOs and ufology inclusive of paranormal phenomena, because that's what... just listen to people like Dr. Jacques Vallée, who has stated that UFOs are part of a phenomenon that we still don't know. It has a dimensionality, and so we cannot separate that.
Right, right.
There are those who study UFOs only from physical nuts and bolts type of
And I believe, yeah, like I said, well, we can talk probably for hours and probably match up all the coincidences from Dulce and Fresno, and it's just that, you've known about Dulce for the longest period of time, and we're barely getting into the Fresno area and what's going on, so hopefully maybe they'll leave you alone and come and bother me now, because, but you know what, also too, I heard that, because Fresno is not too far away from Area 51, China Lake, and I have seen diagrams where, there are vast tunnel systems throughout the United States of America, and people say that we have these subway cars that'll get you from one location to the other location just like that, in a matter of minutes, where it take hours and hours. And I have seen where Area 51 to China Lake to Dulce to Edwards Air Force Base. Does it go further, even east?
Well, I think according to the map devised by Tal Levesque in 1981 or 1982, the bulk of the tunnel connections are in the southwest United States, with Dulce as the hub. If you look at Tal Levesque's underground tunnel connection map, you can find that Dulce is the hub of all the connections. So from Dulce to California, to Nevada, to Utah, of course, and to Colorado, these are the main hub of underground connections. I have not seen any maps or any underground tunnel connection schematic map back east at all. They could exist, but the main thing is in the American Southwest, including California, like you said, China Lake, Area 51 in Nevada, Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah, Colorado, NORAD and Denver International Airport, Albuquerque, Los Alamos, and White Sands.
Let me tell you something that happened in 2001. When President Bush was inaugurated, he came down a month, everything was in May. Very soon after he became president, they said President Bush is going to come to Fresno, California to go and talk about the Sierra National Forest, how to preserve the redwoods and all that. Well, Air Force One brought him to Fresno. 4 helicopters were waiting to take him, his entourage, media, Secret Service, took him up to Sierra Mountains, to the redwoods. President Bush spoke behind a podium saying how we should preserve the redwoods and all that, and we pretty much thought, okay, that's pretty much going to be it. He's going to come back to Air Force One and they're going to take him back to the White House. Well, that's not necessarily what happened. 3 helicopters brought back his entourage, the media, and all of the other people, except President Bush didn't come back. President Bush stayed at a cabin up there for the night. Now look at this. I had a friend who was a forest ranger at that time. He said at about 1:30 in the morning, the helicopter was heard take off and go north of Fresno and land. And at about 4:30, it came back.
That's interesting.
Okay, and that's you can Google it. As far as him staying at how often do you hear, or even ever, do you hear a sitting president staying in a cabin? It's just not heard of. So I'm thinking that his daddy, Mr. CIA himself, wanted to show his son what we really have. And that's why I think that what we have in Fresno is way deeper than I think anybody knows of. Because, what I'm getting at from people is that I need to be careful. You're getting this close to finding out what's going on. And the President Bush thing is just another little part of the evidence that says, open your eyes, this doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that's very interesting, Jeff, and I'm really looking forward to that National Geographic TV special that you're involved in, and I am looking forward to seeing that mysterious white vans and the incident in the Fresno area. But especially, I'm interested in this Owens
Mountain.
Yes,
right
Owens
around that area.
Mountain.
Yep. There's a lot of different mountains out. Somebody's telling me right behind there. That's where it's all happening. So it's just a matter of me getting out there with my entourage and sticking our feet in there, and let's see what happens. So, well, Norio, I appreciate you coming on and talking about this. I think in about 15 minutes, Anthony Sanchez has invited me once again to go on stage, and this time we're going to talk about the triangle crash, because that's how I met Anthony. Anthony was in the process of writing this book and heard about the triangle crash and called me. And again, the first time talking to him over the phone, it was, really a triangle crash, that doesn't happen very often anywhere. And on top of that, getting video of a lot of things happening. So, what's funny is that, and I think you might have seen the pre-printing of the book where he had the Jeeps. And
Definitely. I saw the picture of the triangle craft in Anthony's first version.
Yes.
And
I guess what he told me is, and I don't know if this is the truth or not, but the publication people didn't want it to include that. I don't know why, but in about 2 weeks, the National Geographic is coming out with the new UFO show, Chasing UFOs, and they're going to talk about that.
Definitely it's going to open up a can of worms.
I think it is. And I think Anthony, as publicist, and they should be listening, say they need to reissue this book with that chapter in it.
Definitely.
You know what I'm thinking? That he can definitely sell some copies there. So, all right, Norio.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
Jeff,
for
inviting
coming on.
me today.
And do you have a your own show as well, don't you?
No, I don't have any show.
Oh,
I don't
no.
have any books, but I give information on the internet. People
Okay.
can just befriend me on Facebook.
Okay.
And I will
Well,
give
you're
all kind of-
you're one of my friends on there for a long time. So, I think we're going to be talking a lot more in the
Very
future,
good.
because I think
Jeff.
there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, and I'm going to need your opinion on a lot of stuff. So I'll be calling you, and we're going to be
Anytime,
talking. So,
Jeff.
and
Thank you so much.
I'm going to be associated with Anthony from now on.
Very
so
good.
you're going to be seeing me a lot. So
Yes.
awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, Norio, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we're here at the SacUfoCon UFO conference in Sacramento, California, and we are going to continue going on. I'm going to be actually leaving here. I will be coming back on the air probably right around a little after 12, I think, and I'll find somebody else and we'll get them in here, but I got to do some more talking. So peace out, and we'll see you in a little bit, okay? Thanks.
Very good. Thank you.
And now, your host for
And now.
Well, this is a very good thing.
And now.
Informative. Yeah, definitely. Even though you didn't have to present, the information was so awesome. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was like my favorite interview so far from you two.
Now they're asking for an encore on the chat. Well, it is going to be, it's going to be saved, so those people could definitely come in, and if you missed it, you can go back and watch it as many times as you want. But I got to get ready because I'm going on stage, and we are going to talk about the triangle crash of August 21st, 2010.